Okay, 7-1 is about writing equations with one variable. So today, we are not solving any equations today. We will do that tomorrow. Okay, but you got to know how to write them. So the answer today is not going to be a number. The answer today is going to be you writing the equation. That is the answer. Okay, just so we get that straight, right? We're not solving anything. We're not, okay? We're just simply writing them. Now, this takes us back to lesson in chapter 1. I'm not specific which lesson it was, but you have to know what words mean to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Okay, now I'll be honest with you, this lesson sometimes can be difficult because it's a reading activity. And you already know about that issue. Okay, but along with that, I'm going to show you how to diagram sentences. You guys don't do that anymore in English, right? Find the noun, the verb, the adverb, right? Do you guys still do that a little bit? Okay, well, that's kind of what we're doing today here in math, to be able to write our equation. All right. Remember those from chapter 1? What is an expression? Michael? All right. So in the math world, that is correct, sir. That's good. We call this a mathematical phrase. That's what we call that. And he is correct. There is no equal sign. Okay. Now, an equation is what? Okay, so that's the major difference. You are correct. An expression does not have an equal sign, and an equation does, but in the math world, we have to come up with more than just that. This is called a mathematical sentence. Let me extend this. With an equal sign. Ah. All right, there's a lot going on there. A mathematical sentence with an equal sign that shows two expressions are equal. Okay, the item that makes the mathematical sentence, it's either yes or no is not an equation. We can also substitute the words in true or false. And you'll see that here coming up. With expressions, you don't have yes or no or true or false. You don't have them. You can plug in any number you want. Okay, but with equations, you can't do that. So far, so good. All right, do we need to run down through the list of what means to add, subtract, multiply, divide? Remember that list? That is in your book, and I'm going to try to find a list. Maybe I'll just go back to chapter 1 and take a picture of it, and I'll put it in the class resources for you. Most of them, this is, there's nothing tricky about this, but there are a couple that you may waver on depending on what you think, whether multiplication or division. But for the most part, I'm sure you know what add, subtract words are, and multiply and divide, right? Okay, so speaking of words, there are words that are equivalent to or that mean equals. And one of those is the word is. The same as is referred to as the equal sign. And obviously the last one would be the word equal or equals. Either one. Okay, because again, we're decoding a sentence and making it into an equation. So far, so good. Okay, so just a really, really quick review. The difference here, so you can visually see this and what we mean by this. Okay, an expression, right? We can have 4 plus 8. That's an expression, yes? We can have x plus 8. That's an expression, yes? Okay, equations can look like this. Okay, and the major difference here, as Michael said earlier, is this thing right there, the equation or the equal sign. Okay, realize this though. This is what I want you to take away from just looking what's up at the screen here. 4 plus 8 is an expression, which you know that from over here, right? Okay, but guess what? 12 is also an expression. Think of this as a balance scale. This is what I do every year. Here's my balance scale. Right? Here it is. It has to stay balanced. It can't do this. Right? You know what I'm talking about, right? If you put too much weight over here, what happens? Whoop. Okay, you put too much weight over here. Whoop. Okay. For chapter 7, it has to stay balanced. Okay, and tomorrow and next week, we're going to show you how to keep it balanced. Okay, right now we're not going to do that, but this is what it looks like. Make sense? When we get to chapter 8, guess what this is going to look like? Whoop! It's going to be unbalanced. things are going to start getting interesting then. Okay, but right now, just think, I got it, right? The words that you're going to hear is what I do to one side, I got to do to the other because I got to keep it balanced. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you can keep this visual in your mind, you're going to be in good shape. Okay. Moving on. So here's what they look like. Okay. I'll give you a minute to write that down. The sum of a number n and 7 is 15. Okay, so from here, we want to write an equation. All right. Any key words in there? Maddie. I didn't hear you. Is. Very good. What else? Brady? Sum. What does that mean? That means that we're going to add. Anything else? Okay, let me help you here. Anytime that you see the words a number, this is kind of important because they don't always offer this up. Anytime that you see the words a number, anybody know what that refers to? That's exactly what it is. It's a variable. In this case, they give us the variable n. Might want to pay attention because once we start using variables here, it gets really interesting. Okay, what is special about variables? The value of variables. We've covered this. Michael? Could be anything. They change. Hence the word vary, variables, right? There's no one set number, right? A set number is called a starts with a C, a constant. Oh, we forgot that. Okay, do I have to use the variable that they give me, Mr. Fisher? The answer is yes. That's why they're giving it to you. So we are adding, we got a variable here, and here's the other word that you're not probably familiar with at this point that is really important, is this word right here. The word and. The word and, when you locate the word and, after you have determined which operation you are going to use, okay, right? So we have determined that we are adding based on the word sum. The sign goes where the word and is. I know, it's magical, isn't it? Okay, the word is, we know, means equal. Okay, so if we put it all together, again, how do we read? In which direction do we read? Left to right. So n plus, because we're putting the plus sign in there, 7 is equal to 15. That today is your answer. We are not solving them. We are writing an equation with one variable. Listen, I got to be honest with you. Some of you aren't writing. Some of you are doing whatever. This is going to get really difficult in a matter of days. I'm just giving you a heads up. Yes, my job is to make this look easy and sound easy and do it. It's going to get a little bit more difficult. All right, next one. Again, if you recall anything, we always start off easy so you understand it, and we work to more difficult problems which are coming down the road. Keyword, any of them. Emma. Okay, decreased by. What does that mean? Any means to subtract, right? We're going to be subtracting something. Another keyword. Just yell it out. Okay, very good. A number. Now, we should probably talk about variables. At this point, they give us a variable. Sometimes they do not give you a variable. We talked about this in the beginning of the year. Pick your variables carefully, right? Not all variables are the same. Pick variables that look like variables. Maybe don't pick an S because sometimes it looks like a 5. Don't pick the letter O because that could be a 0, right? And so on. Okay, so be careful picking your variables if you need to. Any other keywords? There you go. Where does the subtraction sign go? There's no and. Where does it go? Uh-oh. Brady? Okay. All right. There's no and in there. Nobody said that. Nobody figured that out. It's not always going to be in there, but if it is, the sign goes where that is. Again, don't be confused. We read left to right. A number y decreased by 4 is equal to 3. That is what we are doing today. That is our answer. Now, question. I'll give you a minute to write that down, and then I got a question for you. Can I write it the way that is in the black dotted line? Why not? This brings you, I can tell you this specifically, this brings you back to lesson 1.3. Who remembers? Dean? Say that again. Okay, but why math? You're right. Why mathematically, Cohen? Yes, but we're still looking. See, the question that I'm asking you right now is an error type question. Just being honest. They want to know why the equation in the black will not work. And those answers are correct, but mathematically there's a reason why it does not work. Michael? Yes, that is correct as well. Asa? Yes, we forgot what we've learned. Subtraction is not what? You remember? What is that called? That's what they want to know, if you can remember those things, which we're struggling at the moment. Subtraction is not commutative. You cannot switch subtraction. Remember that? You can't do that. And all of those are right? You get a negative number, you get a different equation. Those are all correct. But unfortunately, they're looking for you, Masa. They're looking for you to come up with the word commutative. Subtraction is not commutative. Hence, you can't switch it. Can we switch around this? We can, right? We can. I mean, let's say you made a boo-boo. You can do that, okay? But obviously, this is preferable because we're reading left to right. That's probably the way you're going to see it. Okay, but hey, you know what? If you switch it around with addition, no worries. Subtraction, you cannot do that because subtraction is not commutative. There's a little review that we needed. Okay, next one. Any key words here? Maddie? What does that mean? Okay. That means we're going to multiply. What else? Going? Say that again. Very good. And again, I'm going to be honest with you right now, starting off, they are going to give you the variable, but that's going to kind of disappear by the wayside, and you are going to be able to pick your own. Okay, but at the moment, just because you're learning this, that's why it's there. Okay, and last but not least, obviously equals, right? Okay, what do you notice again? Ian? There's no and, right? There's not always going to be. Okay? So this brings you back to your expression. So how are we going to write this? We're going to write it like this. That in the math world, that is very ugly. That's not acceptable in the math world. Okay. Why is that not acceptable? What's the most common used variable in the algebra world? The x. How do you know that's not a variable? You don't. You are absolutely correct. You don't. So guess what? Don't use it. How about if we do this? Is this okay? No. Not acceptable either. Why? Because the raised dot here can be misconstrued as a decimal, depending on where you put it with your wonderful handwriting skills. Okay, so how do we represent multiplication? Remember, this was the most often missed expression when we did that back in chapter 1. Bucky? Okay, you can use parentheses. That is correct. You can, but the most common way, Ian, it's just 12p. Remember, a number next to a variable means multiplication. Okay, back in chapter 1, Tyler, we talked about the reason that this is the most often missed one. There's no sign to remember, right? There's no plus sign, there's no negative sign, there's no slash for division, there's nothing there. Okay, to Pucky's point, though, we could put parentheses. I'm okay with that if you do that. Okay, but generally you're not going to see those. Okay, because in the algebra world, people understand a number next to a variable means multiplication. Okay, question, or I should say review. The 12 here has a name. These are the air test questions. Only 2 hands up. This isn't good. Dean? It's called the coefficient. A number in front of a variable is called the coefficient. That is correct, sir. All right, moving on. Sorry, I had to sandwich that on there. The quotient of a number q and 4 is 12, is what that reads. Keywords. Kayon? Very good. Now we do have an and. That is correct. Asa? Quotient. What does that mean? What does it mean? Yeah, not subtraction. Ian? Okay, means division. Now I'm putting the division symbol there so you see that. Anything else? Emma? Very good. The word is. Okay, anything else? Mason? Okay, again, here they give you the number Q. That's fine. All right. So now we have the word and. What are we going to do with the quotient? That's going to go right there, isn't it? Okay, so we have the quotient of a number Q and 4 is 12. All right, so how do we write this? We're going to write this Q. Now, I will tell you this, in the algebra world, they'd like you to use the fraction rather than the slash or the division sign. Now, I'm going to tell you, you're going to see it both ways. But going forward, meaning 7th grade, 8th grade, and beyond, you won't see that. You will see it expressed as a fraction. Okay? But I'm telling you, at the moment, you're going to see the division sign, and we're going to talk about that. Is 12. There you go. Again, that is our answer for today. We just wrote the equation. Now, if we turn this, is this acceptable to write it this way at the moment? Is that the same thing as what's in the pink? Yeah, the answer is yes. Sure it is, right? And you will see it expressed that way, and you might see it, oops, Q slash 4 is equal to 12. Okay, all of those are equal to one another. That's fine. But the most appropriate one in the algebra world at the moment is by using the fraction. So far, so good. What if we do this? Is this okay? Why not? Maddie? Okay. Mason? Yeah, division is not commutative either. Come on, you might want to write these things down. Subtraction and division are not commutative properties. You learned that addition and multiplication are. You cannot, you have to, in other words, you have to be really careful when it comes to subtraction and division to get them in the right order. Okay, you have a little bit more leeway with the addition and multiplication. Speaking of multiplication, I guess I maybe should have mentioned this back here at this problem. Can we write this P12 is equal to 48? No. No, do not do that. What always comes in front of a variable? The coefficient. Okay, yes. Will you get the same answer? The answer is yes, right? If P was 2 or whatever, if 4 here, right? You would get that same answer. I get that. But mathematically speaking, from an algebra perspective, oh my Lord, this is bad. Don't do that. All right. You want to try one on your own? I'll assume your silence means yes. All right. I'll give you about 30 seconds to. All right, what do we got? Who's going to go out on that limb? Emma, what do you got? What do you have? G5 equals 30. You didn't listen to what I just said. Chen. The number, the coefficient always comes first. Okay. The number always comes first. This goes back to chapter 1. There you go. 22 is twice a number H. Keywords? Michael? Yep. See, I know you guys want to get done and you want to write it, but I'm telling you, if you take your time and diagram this and pick out the keywords, it's going to make your life a lot easier. What else, Michael? Twice. Very key word there. What does that mean in English? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Means to multiply. That is correct. Anything else? Awesome. Okay. And they give you the letter H here. That's fine. All right. So let's write it. What do we got, Michael? Okay. 2H equals 22. How do we read a sentence? Why'd you read it backwards? Right? Now, I'm not saying that this is wrong. It's not. But again, the reason that I'm saying this, Michael did it right. Don't get me wrong. But my point of the story is if it's multiple choice, they may not offer that, right? Because we go left to right, right? And I'm sure that you can switch it back, whatever. Point being is it's left to right. Okay. And again, it's commutative, so you can switch it. All I'm saying is that may not be an option on a multiple choice answer. Okay. Okay, here we go. Seven is 1/3 of a number C. Bless you. Keywords, just yell them out. Is a number. Okay, now this is where it's going to get good here. So, what operation are we doing? Raise your hand. You always have to have an operation, right? You got to have add, subtract, multiply, divide. So you got to find that in the sentence. Michael, what do you want to do? Anybody else? It's all divide to you? Okay. How do we write this equation? Michael, what do you got? Is this what you have, sir? Huh? Say that again. Okay, so I think if I hear you correctly, you are saying this. Yes? Some of you are chuckling. Whatever you do, good Lord, don't do that. All right. Anybody else? Nobody else is going to go out on. Come on. Oh, what? It was so easy a little bit ago. Now it's getting a little bit harder. Children, we haven't even scratched the surface of the ones that are going to challenge you. Logan, what do you got? 1/3 C equals 7. Yes? Why do you children always read backwards? Did we not say we read left to right? I'm confused. Okay, so come on. I'm all right. That is an acceptable answer. But wait a minute. Michael said to use division. What did we use there? We used multiplication there. So, what is in the pink? That's not wrong. That's correct. If we use division, which, Michael, this is where I thought you were going. C over 3 is acceptable. Okay, now, yeah, you might want to pay attention. This is using division. This one over here is using multiplication. Either one of them is correct. Okay, whichever way that you view it, I don't know what to tell you. Some people view it as a multiplication sentence. Some people view it as division. Okay, but either one of those works. You'll get the same answer. Okay, everybody good with that? All right, we're rounding third here. How about that? Okay, so we have a triangle, and they give you that the perimeter of the triangle is 20 inches. And they're asking you to write an equation that can be used to find the value of x. I don't want, you don't have to do this on your own, but let's talk, just talk through it. What do you think? Are we going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Now, keep in mind before you answer, we're not in elementary school. Brady, what do we want to do? Okay, Brady says 3x equals 20. Yes or no? Thoughts? I saw one thumbs up. Yes? Yes or no? He is correct. Now, very good, Brady. What you will not see, children, and this is why I made the comment just a minute ago. Oops. This is not what we're after. This you left back at elementary school. Right? That's what you do there, correct? Okay, well, listen, we're in the algebra world now. We can turn 3 plus x's into 3x. You're not going to see x plus x plus x. Okay, we gotta change our thinking here a little bit. Okay, very good, Brady. Nice job. Okay, last one. Okay, same set of directions. I'm not going to rewrite the whole thing there. Okay, so we're going to write an equation that can be used to find the value of x. Here is our object. Okay, there you go. Perimeter of the rectangle is 32 inches. The width is 4. The length is x. Write an equation that can be used to find the value of x. Again, we're not solving anything. We're writing the equation. I don't need the value, how long x is. It's not what we're after yet. Anybody? Logan? 2x plus 2 times 4 is equal to 32, he says. Yes, no, maybe. Talk to me. You think that's a yes? I think that's not 100% correct. Can we simplify anything, children? Bucky? That's exactly what we need to do. Okay, you should be getting the idea here. In the math world, we simplify things as far as we can go. Okay, so can we multiply 2 times 4? Yeah, we can. We can get 8. Okay, so the rectangle or the equation in the blue is simplified as far as we can go. Okay, that's what we like. Okay, you got to start getting the idea that you need to look at what you do mathematically and ask yourself, can I simplify it farther? If the answer is yes, then you got to keep going until you can't go anymore. Then you're done. Okay, so everybody good? Questions? Okay. So you have some work to do. You got 1 through, I think, 19, the odds. You got practice. Listen. 7-1B, 1 through 12. You need to do all of those. And you have an ed puzzle. Okay, so there's plenty to do tonight. Based on how you do tonight is going to determine how we're going to solve them tomorrow. All right? All right, you may get started.